Hello, I am Nufaizla binti Azmi. Today I will be presenting about comparison of French and German in terms of language family, number of speakers, influence in the economic domain, and the cultural domain. Firstly, firstly we will look at how French and German are different in terms of the language family. French language belongs under the Roman languages, which is under the Indo-European language family. Roman languages are taken from the Latin word, which is Romanicus, which bring the meaning Roman, that is shortened to Romans. French language are descended from the Vulgar Latin of the Roman Empire. What is Vulgar Latin? Vulgar Latin is actually a non-formal of spoken Latin. In France, Gaul Celtic people are known as the first people who lived in France. But in the 3rd century, the Germanic tribes tried to invade the Celtic Gaul people, and then it has left an impact on the vocabulary of the region of the Vulgar Latin. King Francis I also has announced that France are used as their official language for their government use in 1593. In 17th century, France are proudly happy that they are labeled as the language of culture and diplomacy. The reason why French enjoy being labeled as the language of culture and diplomacy because it is that people choose to learn French and speak French. Next, German language family. German language family is under West Germanic group, which are also under Indo-European language family. In the West Germanic group, they also have English, Frisian, and Dutch, include Netherlandic and Flemish. But what is the most prevalent West Germanic uses language? It is actually English, German, and Dutch. People have mistaken the German language family, not because German are under West Germanic, so it is the first languages, but it actually not. English is the first languages under the West Germanic group. There are the total of 450,000 speakers from 4 distinct variety of West Germany. The 450,000 speakers shows why the West Germany has a lot of subgroup languages under it. In German, we have two types of German, which is the High German and Low German. High German are mostly the language we are now common literary language, which was spoken up until before 100,000. For the Low German, it is spoken primarily in northern Germany and the northern East Netherlands. Low German are also known as Brodish dialect. Is also spoken by the Russian Mennonite, other than northern Germany and northern East Netherlands. Because Low German are closely related to English and Frisian, so they have come up with the new Germanic group, which is Nazi Germanic group. Comparison number 2, which is number of speakers. People who are fluent in French and speak French are known as Francophone. From Ethnologue website, there are 300 million French speakers all around the world. This could be the reason why French has been listed as the world's most spoken language. For the native speaker, it has for 18 million speakers, and the rest 187 million are from non-native and partial speakers. From the study, French is spoken across 5 continents, which include of Africa, Asia, Oceania, North America, and Europe. I want to focus on how French language is widely spoken in Africa. Africa is the only continent that has the most French speakers. For example, Abidjan in Ivory Coast, this place has announced that French has superseded the local language, which is French has take over the local language of this country language. Even in the Democratic Republic of Congo alone, they have 28 million speakers. French also serves as lingua franca or the official language for these indigenous ethnic groups such as Lingala, Kimpogo, Chiluba, or Sawali. French also believe will take more places in Africa because of the massive population subgroup in sub-Saharan Africa. German language has 155 million speakers. Now 76.5 million people are the German native speaker. The other 58 million people are taking German language as their second language, third language, and the fourth language. It also has become the official languages for the European Union because the statistics says that 100 million people in Europe can speak German. We can conclude in here that French statistically has more speakers than German. But if you look back, German is actually more conversant in Europe. Meanwhile, French are more conversant in Africa. Furthermore, we will be looking at how French and German influence the economic domain. How French influence in economic domain. French is one of the world's top economic powers. French has been used for 87 major global organizations. Overall economy of culture with a work value can become to 2,623.6 billion US dollar in 2016. The market share for audiovisual material and related services in 2016 was 14.43%, whereas 22.29% of those items which was imported globally. In 2016, we can see that the songs which are in French language are brought in Canadian dollar for 23.6 million. In Quebec, the majority albums are sold are also in French language. From here, we can see that how French language are really influenced in economic, such as music and entertainment. Next, we'll be looking at how German influence in economic domain. To nominal GDP, Germany is the fourth highest ranking nation with the world value of 4 trillion. This can be proved by how the German has the second largest global export economy according to the OEC, and they are also the originator of the modern automobile, which are well known. They are very well known for their high technology automobile. So it shouldn't be a surprise for us if they are really a billionaire in this automobile business. The example of international market leaders in German car manufacturers are Volkswagen, BMW, which has been featuring in the 14 Global 500. So, if we are the Malaysian people who are trying to convince the German market, we should know or learn their language. It's really crucial because some of the German people using their own language. If we want to grab the attention of the market company, we have to sound convincing with learning the German language. From here, we can conclude that French are more dominated in entertainment scope of economic demand, such as music, like what I have shown you guys before. And German also are well known for their super powerful in technologies company. More job are offering electrical, automobile, and technologies kind of job scopes. The last thing is I will share with you guys how the French and German has become the influence in cultural domain. First, we have to know what is cultural domain. Cultural domain are categories of human interaction, belief and meaning that every culture is shares. French influence in cultural domain. French has been recognized or are known as hub of high culture since the 17th century. Because the widest impact of their language in the development of world of arts, civilization, and sciences. And we also know that France are really superb in their fashion, culinary, art, and film. I want to touch one of the cultural domain that France has influenced, which is cooking. Cooking also one aspect of cultural domain in the lexical diversity, also the figurative use of a wide range of words from the domain. If you guys can see from the table, it is actually the example of how French is influenced in cooking domain. If you look at the food, soup. Soup is actually soup in English. And also crepes. Crepe is also the originated word from French. And we actually also have used a lot of words from French to describe the way of cooking. For example, I think you guys are very familiar with it, which is saute in English, which bring the meaning cook onions quickly over strong heat in little fat. French are also successfully in theatre and literature, poetry and philosophy, painting and sculpture, architecture and music. I can give you the example of the greatest name in history of music, which is Molière, Zola, Hugo, and Voltaire, Monet, Rodin, or Chopin. They are the biggest name of the musician in French or originated from French, which their music are using to this day. Germans' influence in culture domain are not really different from the French influence. Germany has a long and rich history that has placed it at the forefront of European politics, thought, and art for more than 1,000 years. First thing, we will be focused on music. One of the famous Germanic musician is Bach and Beethoven. German influence in architecture domain. The nation has had turbulent history, which is reflected in the rich and varied architecture. The best way for us to understand Germany is through its palaces, castles, church, and monuments. All of these figurative have their own history. That's all for me. Thank you.